Om Shanti, we cannot hear, sister.
Now is
No
better.
sound.
Yes, now we can hear.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
We are starting with a minute of silence. Thank you. And again, good evening. We're saying just now, welcome to this cold, dark Thursday evening. If you're in New York City or around the New York area. And the topic of today is an enlightened consciousness, which is quite timely for the dark times we are in. An enlightened consciousness. So when you think of enlightenment or enlightened, what are the words that are coming to mind? What is it that you think about when you hear this word? Enlightened. Free. Free. Free from?
Free from attachment,
thoughts.
suffering.
Free from the human layers. That is what you say? The human layers of the mind. Okay. Anyone else? What is it that you
The
think?
soul consciousness, aware of the soul.
Aware of the soul.
So free from identification with the body.
Free from identification with the body.
Free from attachment and suffering.
Free from attachment and suffering. That would be a good place to be. Free from attachment and suffering. Anything else?
Imbibing in our original samskars.
Imbibing our original sanskars.
I feel that realizing who really I am.
Enlightenment, light, stands for you can see clearly. Stands for you. And seeing clearly, not necessarily with these eyes, but understanding things. Now, even in English also, when you understand something, you say, I see, I understand. So an enlightened consciousness is a consciousness, mind, and intellect where you understand things clearly. Things that normally are not understood. Things that normally are lots of questions around. People have lots of questions, or they don't even question it anymore because they don't even want to go there. So if there are insights, if there are clarity beyond what is mundane, that would be enlightened. You know things. You know the deeper secrets. You see through the limited and what apparently is there, but you don't see what you see behind what is apparent. You see beyond what is apparent. You understand. And someone was mentioning knowing who you are, soul consciousness. That is a good way to start. with enlightenment. When we look at ourselves, when we look at others, what we see is we see the physical form, the body, and the characteristics of the body, and the things around the body, and the connections of the body. That would not be enlightened. Enlightened means you understand there is a spiritual being there who is invisible, who has different characteristics from the body and the human personality. So if I understand that, I see that, and I live a life in that awareness and make my choices and my decision based on that awareness, I could call that enlightened. You have deeper insights in who you are, who others are. Understand? Does it make sense? Maybe
Yes,
we should
it makes sense.
use the board to sketch it and help it become more clear. Aiming to put the camera. So normally, when we think of ourselves or of others in a non-enlightened consciousness, we think of ourselves as this, more or less. Don't want to insult anyone, but or we think of the things around, or the connected, the friends or family, or the what is it, the financial potential of someone, whether they are rich or middle class, upper class, or lower class or not. We think of their position or their possession or their culture, their ethnicity, their religion. That is what we see. This is ordinary consciousness. Normal, mundane human consciousness sees this and thinks of this and has likes or dislikes about this, and works for this in terms of the self. An enlightened consciousness is aware that all of this is temporary, that all of this is perishable, that all of this sooner or later will not be there anymore. An enlightened consciousness understands that this is temporary and can never be the basis of my value nor my true identity. An enlightened consciousness knows the self as an invisible, living light, a being of consciousness, knows the self as immortal, knows the self as invisible, knows the self as a being who is visiting this physical world. A being who is a foreigner, you could say. Foreigner in this world of matter, this world of sound, this world of change, this world of end. If one feels like a foreigner, within Christianity, there is this saying, no? It was said about Christ, he is of this world. No, he's in this world, but he's not of this world. No, so he doesn't belong here, belongs somewhere else. That is enlightened consciousness. You want to say anything? So this feeling is there. We're in this body, but this body is not mine. This body belongs to nature. I received it on loan to use for a while, but it's not mine. And it is not me. It doesn't define me. In this enlightened consciousness, you as if come as a visitor. You play this human game as a visitor, as a guest. And what is the characteristic of a guest? He leaves again. Yeah, very good. So aware that I have come and I will leave, and no problem with that.
Detached, right?
So detached, why? How? Come?
Because you're not gonna take anything. You leave it
Yeah, you don't own anything.
on.
And you don't want to own anything either because you cannot use it. You cannot make it with you. And you don't want to use it, take it either. You use it whilst you're there. You enjoy it, you appreciate, but you don't, like you come here, you have come here, you're using the chair. You don't want to take it, I hope. But you use it in the meantime. You don't feel this is my chair. I want to take this and carry it. You use it, it's not mine. So this internal attitude towards the physical world, you appreciate, you enjoy, you use, you play with it, you interact, you care, you share, but nothing is mine. And if nothing is mine, then also no one is mine. We like this word, no? Mine. We like this word, mine. Is this a word used in enlightened consciousness?
No.
Enlightened consciousness feels nothing here is mine. And I can appreciate and enjoy without having to go in this mine and I. You get a feel of this higher consciousness, feeling of a traveler. What other characteristics are there of a guest or a visitor? Have you ever thought of this? That we are a guest on this planet?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not only a guest on this planet, you are a guest even in your body. Body is a temporary lodging place. Lodging, you say like that? Hotel.
Yeah.
Hotel for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And if we feel we don't own anything, what is the natural next feeling? No, so someone was mentioning freedom. Freedom from owning. Freedom from desires and needing.
and needed.
Mhm.
Freedom from those type of feelings.
Mhm.
And so what is the next natural step in your feelings when you feel free? Nothing, I don't nothing. I need nothing. I desire nothing. Peaceful? Why? Because you can't lose anything.
Mhm.
There is not that that noise inside, and the anxiety or the fear or the potential fear of losing. All of that is not there. Mm. Now, in this case, so there's a question here: how can you control the emotion? In this case, there is no attachment. There is love, but no attachment. Attachment means dependency. Attachment means there is emotional bondage. Attachment means I feel I need that person, for example, to be peaceful. I need that person to be happy. That is dependency. In this guest consciousness, you are peaceful. You are happy. And then you interact. So you interact to share, you interact to give, not to have or to get or to own. So in that interaction, there is not this emotional turmoil. Once you're in the emotional turmoil, it means you're already crossed the line. You have already entered into dependency and bondages. And that comes from inner emptiness, lack of clarity, lack of, enlightenment. Because as a spiritual being, we are complete, we are full, we are whole, beings of peace, immortal, imperishable, beings of light with God-like quality. We belong to that world of light, that dimension beyond the physical. We belong to the Supreme Soul. And so that awareness, that, what would be the name, the word, that experience and that consciousness makes you come here full. You come here to give, not to take. And then you don't come into these emotional whirlwinds. But it is when we start to identify, when we start to get dependent, when we get into attachments, when we get into bondages, then we get in emotional turmoils, when the ego is not pleased, or when the attachments are not fulfilled, or the expectations and the desires are not fulfilled. Want to say anything? Can you, yeah. So that those on Zoom can also hear.
I've heard sometimes people say that there are certain people who are enlightened, like they'll like inner historical relevance. I don't remember like the particular names, but like they'll say they were enlightened. Most of these are like spiritual teachers. Is there like a certain threshold that they cross, and that they're like always in that awareness, that like they I don't know, like do they just transform, or like normal human beings who are maybe not in that state, are they then is that like a term for a person who's like now transcended in that form? Or I'm just trying to understand, like, is that term only for that, or is that like a state of awareness which anyone could have, and but even if it's momentary or something like that?
And it won't be momentary, no? Because if there is true enlightenment, at least there are tools to hold on to it or to come back into it again. But at this moment in time, true enlightenment comes when we have God's knowledge. And everyone can study God's knowledge and become enlightened. If you want, if you have interest, if you pay attention and make the effort to do that. Yeah. So you too.
And are you constantly in that state of awareness?
It requires attention to remain constantly in that kind of enlightened, aware state. It requires practice and it requires attention because we live in a world where the forces are against enlightenment. Right? So enlightenment, a more practical way to say it, is when you understand things. You understand the deeper secrets. You understand what is behind, not only the obvious. Now, in a world where we live based on outer experience, outer appearances, in a world where we live and we have created a society and we have created a life based on external things, it requires attention to hold that vision of self and of others as spiritual beings, because everyone treats you based on how much money you have. Everybody treats you based on who you know, where you come from, what your ethnicity is, what the physical appearance is, beauty or not beauty. Everyone treats you based on these outer layers. So for you to hold on to that awareness of the self as an invisible being, you're as if going against the current. And that requires effort, it requires attention, it requires company of those who have that same aim. So it is not, how to say, it is not I have it and that's it. The forces at present are against it. Because everyone, not everyone, but most people will treat you based on these superficial external things. If the body is beautiful, people will praise because of that. If the job is good, people will want to be your friend if you have money. So the forces in society are such that they reinforce that limited consciousness. So you have to make specific, focused attention and effort to hold on to the awareness of the self as a timeless, immortal being. That is why meditation is a practice to be done daily that reinforces spiritual awareness. Anyone else want to say anything?
Yeah, we are kind of conditioned by the culture, so it's kind of hard to people are conditioned by the culture and everything, so you're distracted by
We're
it.
not hearing very well. It is quite muffled, the sound.
We are conditioned by the culture and we are distracted by external things. So it's kind of hard to like you, unless you practice every, day, and you have to like mingle with the people, they have the same values and everything. It's kind of hard to, have that peace or inside.
Mhm. Any other thoughts from anyone?
Well, just to go with that, I think, I was actually what you were just saying. I was listening to a podcast with BK Shivani. She said something very, very similar. How soul conscious, like spirituality is a slippery slope. You're going up upstream, and so you have to remain conscious. But if we're operating in this world, it's not just how other people view our body or our job or something like that, but how we are also interacting with those
Yeah.
people. And sometimes it's, I'm thinking of situations in my own life where I pause and I say, I need to do good karma, but I don't know how. I don't know what the right thing is to do, because I had to take some action, and all the actions seem not great. Because so I pause and I think, I don't know. I don't feel I'm smart enough to know the right thing. Yeah.
A simple measure, that at least for in whatever situation possible, is whatever action I perform, will it enhance my soul aware state, or will it enhance the soul aware state of someone else? And that is at least a good measure to start. And why is it useful to be soul aware? Why is it useful to be soul conscious? This awareness of immortality, this awareness of being imperishable, lifts us out of insecurities, lifts us, and not as a theory, but as a deeper knowing and a deeper experience based on your meditative experiences, based on your deeper reflections. This awareness lifts you out of anxieties and insecurities around mortal, physical, human existence. It lifts you beyond feelings of loss, because I can't lose anyone. Everyone is immortal. And at this level, I don't own anyone to lose anyway. And so this awareness gives a very pleasant experience of peace. And a peace that is, what would you call it? A peace that is what is the word? Even a peace that is unshakable. You say like that? A peace that doesn't unshakable. I can't find the right word. An unfluctuating peace, regardless of what happens here. You remain peaceful. Yeah. So the economy fluctuates, but your peace doesn't fluctuate. Your inner state of peace doesn't fluctuate. Body may fall ill, but your peace doesn't go away. Stable peace. Yeah. This state of immortality, awareness of immortality, awareness of being beyond the fluctuations of the physical, makes us able to love in a unconditional way. Because you don't need anything internally. So whoever is there, you appreciate and you love without needing anything. So love becomes pure and clean. There is a deeper sense of joy and contentment of not needing anything and of being able to appreciate everything. Everything becomes like an extra gift. So in this awareness of self, true self, your own higher nature and your own inner beauty comes out. And who enjoys that? If you are peaceful, who enjoys that the most?
Everybody around us.
Yeah,
and
we ourselves. If there are feelings of love for someone or for something, who is enjoying those feelings of love the most? You yourself. So the experience of your own innate higher nature becomes accessible for you, as opposed to irritation or disillusionment or what is it? Boring, boredom, or lazy, or tired, or insecure. So this path of enlightenment is actually quite simple, but it requires focus and not being distracted by things that are not durable, not of deeper value. Now, sometimes walking on the street is a very good practice, no? Are your thoughts pulled? I'm walking on Fifth Avenue. There are so many things, no? Some pizzeria, some ice cream, someone screaming, someone standing on his head in the corner, some other walking in middle of the winter half naked. All kinds of things you see, imaginable and unimaginable. You So where is your mind going? You observe? Are you pulled? Are you shocked? Are you surprised? Are you attracted? Or are you just the silent observer, amused by the whole thing? But if it is not there, that's fine too. Some smell coming, some rat running, all kinds of situation. Police cursing, car honking, all scenery. This interesting entertainment, some amusement, but you're not pulled or pushed. Just a quiet, peaceful, silent observer.
We
Sister,
should we should observe and detach it and go back to our peace.
Yeah.
Sister, you were saying what we shouldn't be distracted by the things that are not durable, but in essence, that's everything, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not distracted by the pizza sign or whatever on the street, but let's say you have an issue with a coworker relation, something like that, and that person is very important to you, and that's already like maybe a problem, but there's some more durability to that on an intellectual level than a pizza sign.
Yeah.
And there's like emotion involved with that. So this thing, that's where it gets a little complicated, because there's a karmic relationship with another soul.
Mm.
And then I guess that's what I'm not so sure. If you're not distracted from something so that's not durable, is this karmic relationship considered to be durable?
If you lift it to the level of souls and on the journey of the souls. That's fine. But why get into some entanglement at this level? Because even at this level, the relationship will not last. Even if it lasts the whole lifetime, it is still perishable and temporary. So to be in that entanglement with push and pull is not very wise, because ultimately it will not last. The only real relationships we have is as spiritual brothers. So if there is some karmic entanglement, let me learn the lesson, but remain free. And free in this case means not needing anything, not dependent. Doesn't mean I have to avoid the person, doesn't mean I cannot interact with the person, but not in need of them to behave or to act in a specific way or not. Then you are free internally. Can you take the mic so that they can hear?
What about if there is an economic dependency with someone? So you don't want to depend on this person, but you have to because maybe you can afford living here, or there is a dependency, but you would
Then
like to
work towards independency. Then work towards independence. Because it is never very clever not to be dependent at any level. Because if we find ourselves for whatever reason in a situation of dependency, it means someone else is my master. Someone else decides how I feel. Someone else decides. That is not an enlightened state of being. And there are different things we can do. It's lower your physical needs, for example, diminish your physical needs, but dependency just means bondage. And to be in a state of bondage is not enlightened. To be in a state of bondage means you cannot access this whenever you want to. It depends on someone else or a situation or a certain circumstance. It is like being in jail. And the prison officer decides when he opens the door or not. The prison officer decides when he gives you food or not. It's bondage. If they decide to be nice to you, then you feel good. And if they don't, you don't feel good. That is the opposite of enlightenment. That is bondage and jail concept. And the moment we need, it means the situation or the person is in charge of fulfilling my need or not. So I'm in bondage. And whether that need is physical or emotional or mental, a needy state is a beggar state, a beggar mindset. And that is not enlightened. It is a trap. But that doesn't mean we cannot enjoy some company or some circumstance. We appreciate, we enjoy, but I don't need. There's a difference. You can like, you can appreciate, you can respect, you can care and love, but we cross a line when we start needing or expecting, or even worse, demanding. Then there is inequality. And something else or someone else has then the power over you.
And if I have anything else you want me so sister, I've been like I learned some of these like principles for like 1 or 2 years, been practicing that. And then nowadays I find myself more caught up when I am like, so for example, I'll have a day where I'm like completely present and I really enjoy that feeling. And like the next day, if I don't wake up right or something like that, like, and I started off with like a little unconsciousness state, like then I get caught up that, oh, I'm not feeling good because like, probably because I'm heeding to my thoughts. So like then I'm just like playing a push and pull game throughout the day, like where I'm trying to like align myself back. And then so what I meant to say is like I realized throughout the you were saying is like that is also kind of like my attachment to that feeling of that state of like existence. Like I'm kind of like now my thing that I'm getting attached to is like that I want to feel like that the entire day. And sometimes I don't. Then now also like I sometimes find myself in a place where I'm not allowing myself to even be like um sad or something. Even if I come across those emotions, then I'll be like, no, you can't do that because that just means you're just focusing on a negative thought. So like focus on a positive thought, then you can get to that. But then that's not easy. So then I get caught up in like that. I just wanted to see like how do you think I should respond to those things? Because that becomes like honestly like the turmoil that I'll have like in a week. 1 2 days I'll be like very happy. The other days I'm just fighting my own self because of that rather than anything external or something.
I am not fully understanding what is going on. But we would not call it attachment when you are just living your innate nature, when you're emerging your innate qualities, and when you're allowing yourself to be in an inner environment that allows these feelings to emerge. Why should we feel that is attachment? Your innate nature, you're allowing your natural state to be there and to allow for an environment where that peace or that love is experienced. Why should we call that attachment? If that is what is natural, it would be useful to promote that and to allow myself to be natural.
True. How do I like respond to it? Like for example, if like there's like a negative stream of thought and there's like a momentum that it has caught up, then it's very like I try from my best. Like I try to do like a positive thought. I'll try to do affirmations. Sometimes even I meditate. Like even then, like it just doesn't come back to that
That
state.
is why it is, if we are truly serious on our spiritual journey, that spiritual studies will become a daily activity. Not like for myself. Every morning, I have an hour at least of spiritual studies where I expose myself to the wisdom and the knowledge from God. And that knowledge, that consciousness of God, which is at that level, and from that level, that knowledge is spoken, it lifts my consciousness and it lifts my awareness and it gives me new insights every day. So as if my mind and my thoughts do not ever become stale. Stale, you say, like that, old, or it doesn't become stale. So there's always input from a higher source. So it every time lifts your thoughts to something higher so that you never get stuck. But this is something I do at a daily basis. And not only meditation, but deeper spiritual studies, which we call Murli, which is every morning we study that. And that is like, just like the body, if you don't give it food regularly, you lose energy. Body becomes weak. So same way, the soul needs to be nurtured with higher knowledge, with divine knowledge that elevates awareness, that elevates consciousness. And if you do that every day, and apart from that, you connect your mind with the Supreme through meditation, then every day you have that, how to say that, you're lifting yourself to a higher stage. So even if things during the day happen that pull you a little down, you have something that pulls you up again.
I went to the Peace Village recently.
And to peaceful. Can you?
Oh, yeah. I went to Peace Village recently and I was trying to describe this to them and then they were like, it's the power. Like, missing the power. I was like, how do I get it?
If you really want to know how to get it, I would suggest you there is a 7 days meditation course that we give. You start follow that 7 days meditation course. And if you follow it through, then there is an advanced course and then an intermediate course, a follow-up course, and then there are advanced levels. So you gradually shift into a lifestyle that is spiritual, because that is what is needed to sustain certain experiences that we touch on, certain things that we may would like to continue to know or to experience or to touch on. But we need to create a lifestyle for ourselves and a spiritual routine that nurtures this on an ongoing basis.
So, a part of the meditation, what kind of study do you do in the morning?
Raj Yoga, this is knowledge of Raj Yoga.
So, is like something written? So, is a book? Is
No, it is
something
not a book. It is the spiritual knowledge that is revealed to us through God, by God. And we study what has been revealed in the mornings. So all those 7 lessons that you get in the course, it is part meditation and it is spiritual knowledge. And that is the basis for the further study.
It's like a message you get?
No, you don't get it.
So I don't, because
No.
I meditate every morning. I don't actually understand what is the other part.
The other part.
Like you meditate and then what?
No, you study we study spiritual knowledge that is revealed to us through the medium of Brahma. The Supreme Soul borrows that body and speaks knowledge. Mm-hmm. And that knowledge is written down and that we study.
Okay. Now I understand.
And that we study. Yeah. And it is called Raj Yoga. Anyone else? There is a question in the chat, Jose. Not a question. Oh, okay.
Sister, can we, I guess if you experience pain, like pain is the emotion, not as the physical pain, does that mean that you have not learned a lesson to be on the way towards enlightenment. You still haven't learned that karmic lesson. If you feel pain from a certain
The
experience.
pain is a message. The pain is the phenomena of pain is nature's way, or the way, the method of the physical universe to tell us something is wrong. Your positioning is not right. Your physical position is not right, or your mental positioning is not right, or your emotional positioning is not right. Shift your positioning, shift your paradigm, shift your belief systems, shift your actions, whichever. And it is up to us to learn to decode the message. But pain is nature's way of telling us you are doing something that is against what is natural. You're doing something against what you are made for.
Is there a way, is there like a trick or a tip or something to combat? Let's say, for example, you are just going about your day and then you hear something that a loved one did that immediately you feel hurt. And is there something you can say to yourself, like, oh, none of this means anything, don't worry about it? Or like, like, is there a trick to get past that experience of pain so it doesn't keep repeating whenever somebody disappoints you? I guess how to mitigate disappointment.
There is a tip. I don't know if you could call it a trick, but a tip, yes. I'm not too sure if you would like to hear it. If somebody disappoints it means you had expectations. If you don't have expectations, then you are not disappointed. Or if you are ready for anything. And for that, of course, you need deeper spiritual knowledge and a broader perspective. Also, we need to understand the journey of the soul through time. No? And we need to understand the journey of human society through time. And so every soul who comes as a visit here starts out pure, starts out peaceful, starts out loving, starts out happy, starts out wise, starts out free. But whilst we journey through the physical world, we gradually get into ignorance. We gradually get into attachments and ego and selfishness, helplessly because of ignorance. Now, when a soul is in that state of ignorance, what can we expect?
Right. So
how can you expect divinity and virtuousness from someone who is trapped in attachments and ego? And so if you see behavior in yourself or with yourself or in others that is less than perfect, why do we condemn? Why are we expecting perfection if we know that this is not the time for that?
So can we have neutral expectations then? Or is it that we expect everybody to just be ignorant? And then you don't get disappointed?
So that is another way of saying you don't expect them to be perfect. You know what is the condition of humanity at this moment in time. But at the same time, you are connecting with a higher source. You are connecting back to your own higher nature. You are using God's knowledge to restore yourself. And through that, you can help others to restore themselves also. But in the meantime, don't expect them to be gods and goddesses, because they are not. And if we have that expectation of ourselves or others, we will suffer.
Thank you.
We will suffer. And we can't blame anyone
Uh,
for that, not even really ourselves, but we should, let's just be clear of the condition of the world at this moment in time, but also clear of what is really needed. You know, if someone is, you know, sometimes you must be able to relate to that. When you go into the psychiatric ward, you don't expect people to be sane and cautious and behaving with intelligence and with manners. You know they are sick. You know, and you don't go there expecting them to be royal and courteous and well-mannered, you know, but also you don't condemn them. You don't get disappointed because you know beforehand. The psychiatric ward, what you can, you know, you hope when you help and you want them your best wishes and good wishes out of love, but you're not expecting them to behave.
The world is a psychiatric ward.
Yeah. So one way to see it, the world at this moment is the whole is a psychiatric ward, including myself. I'm also in the process of getting healed. I don't know if this is a good trick for you, but Hmm. And actually, in the psychiatric ward, if somebody tells you, I love you, you think, wait a minute, I'm not too sure if I want that. You kind of stay away from those kind of things because this is not the time for that. First, you get better, then we will see again. Okay. But practice is simple. Practices are simple. One thing is your meditation, and develop your meditation. Learn to meditate accurately and in depth. Learn about deeper spiritual wisdom. Create certain routines in your life that nurture soul awareness, that nurture a deeper, accurate understanding of God and a relationship with God. And during your daily activities, play with this consciousness. We are foreigners in this world. Soul is a guest. I'm a guest in this body, a guest on this planet, traveler through time. Play with this awareness. Always aim to see a bigger picture. And implement a lifestyle of simplicity and a lifestyle of purity, a lifestyle that is spiritual. That is one way to shift karmic accounts. And more karmic accounts are shifted, more clarity there will be also. No, if we do the things we have always done, we will get the things we always got. If we want to encounter something different, experience something different, if we want to be new and have different experiences, we have to do things differently. Think differently, believe differently, different routines. And something maybe sounding a bit outrageous, but start to get up early in the morning. Change your diet. Become absolutely dedicated to non-violence on all levels. No cursing, no alcohol, vegetarian, a vision of brotherhood for everyone. And be serious about it. If you change, your world changes. And the world change. But if I don't change, then everything will remain the same as it has always been for me. we'll just get more of the same. As always, time flies. Wanted to special invitation for next week, Thursday, an in-person event, holiday, celebration of the season of lights, to call it. A special event next Thursday, and there will be some refreshments, there will be some light entertainment and some spiritual sharings. So there will be option on Zoom also for those who live far, but it is actually a special invitation to come in person to the center. Give yourself that gift of a visit to the center and spiritual company in person. Okay? Shall we close with some moments of silence? And just hold this image of light in your mind like a tiny star. Timeless, pure, serene, living light. Operating from the center of the forehead, just behind the eyes. A traveler through time and space. Pure, peaceful, eternal light. And as we go through the journey, let us hold the aim to stay with this awareness of the self as light, imperishable light, immortal being of light. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Om Shanti, thank you. Have a good night.
Oh, Shanti,
Thank
what
you.
time will the